is the most premium quality auto refinishing solution you will ever need.
Continuing its journey of doing good for Sri Lanka, Nestlé Lanka is furthering its investment in the country despite volatilities, with its strong focus on sustainability. The company will be investing over 1 billion rupees in a biomass boiler project at its state-of-the-art factory in Kurunegala, which will contribute significantly towards the company's endeavour of achieving net zero emissions across the value chain by 2050. Planned to begin mid-2023, this investment project will be conducted under a build-own-operate-transfer agreement with Themax Energy and Environment Lanka Limited. A press conference was held on the 9th of February 2023 to announce the investment with the participation of Industries and Plantations Minister Dr. Ramesh Patharana, Environment Ministry Secretary Dr. Anil Jarzinga and Swiss Ambassador to Sri Lanka and the Maldives Dominic Fergler, along with officials from Nestlé Lanka, including Managing Director Jason Avancena and Managing Director Designate Bernard Stefan. Addressing the gathering, Chief Guest, Industries and Plantations Minister Dr. Ramesh Patharana said, "During this unprecedented time of economic volatility, it is a pleasure to witness Nestlé Lanka consistently investing in the country, especially in green energy. Investments such as this is not only imperative for sustainable economic recovery, but also for a better tomorrow for our future generations."
2 months ago, actually, we visited His Excellency Dominic Bergler to your Pannala factory. That's for the capacity building program, which is coming at a cost of 2 billion Sri Lankan rupees at a very critical time for Sri Lanka. That is a very worthwhile investment. Now, this is the second time we've gone ahead, one step ahead, with an investment of 1 billion Sri Lankan rupees to the biomass production. So your company, as we fondly recall, your presence is more than 115 years in Sri Lanka. And Nestlé is present in more than 189 countries, I was made to understand. So it's a big number. And Sri Lanka also, a few decades ago, had seen many multinational companies doing their business in Sri Lanka. But due to many different reasons, due to many different challenges, most of them had left Sri Lanka. But Nestlé continued to be present in Sri Lanka, and your presence and your footprint become stronger and stronger by the day. So I congratulate Nestlé Sri Lanka, having contributed immensely for the development of the Sri Lankan dairy sector and also agricultural sector. And you have, as a company, you have employed nearly 1,000 people, and there are 1,000 other, more than, a significant number of Sri Lankan families are connected to your value chain. So your aim today to produce biomass, the primary aim is to reduce your cost in relation to fuel importation. By commissioning this special project, you'll reduce the importation of fuel to your company, which is amounting to $3 to $4 million you mentioned, which is a significant sum of money. So during time of economic calamity in Sri Lanka, a lot of Sri Lankan entrepreneurs, the companies have looked at different opportunities. So during this difficult time, you also looked at the forex crisis. You've taken necessary initiatives to ensure that you do something renewable, something reasonable, something justifiable. So in Dr. Anil Jarzinga's lengthy speech, he mentioned the importance of resorting to newer mechanisms of reducing greenhouse gas emissions and carbon footprint. So Nestlé Sri Lanka, as correctly mentioned in your speech by your managing director, starting from sourcing the raw material, and also when it comes at the level of logistics, at the level of manufacturing, packaging, branding, and at all different levels, you have done wonderfully well to ensure you reduce gas emissions and reduce carbon footprint. We mentioned during the discussions whilst we're having breakfast, your initiatives to source more greener products. So dairy segment is one of the areas where greenhouse gas emissions are highest in the agricultural sector. You try to reduce that, and you try to introduce paper straws, replacing plastic straws. You try to do more transportation by e-vehicles on futuristic basis, and you try to use Sri Lankan railroads rather than utilizing many different vehicles for the road transportation. You try to reduce fuel consumption by introducing biomass into your factory. So we're very happy that this difficult time of ours, one of the most difficult economic challenges that we face in our lifetime, most of the companies, multinationals and otherwise, they come forward to strengthen their presence in Sri Lanka. One thing is we wanted to reduce imports that are not mandatorily required. So we have come a reasonable way in relation to reduction of non-essential imports to this country. Last year, we were importing nearly 18 billion worth stuff to this country, as against 22 billion 4 years ago. Our fuel consumption was also curtailed. We were spending about nearly $500 million annually for the importation of fuel. But last year, we managed with 250 million, nearly half of the amounts that we were spending historically. One thing is, it's ration, which is not a good thing. But also, on the other hand, people have started thinking of the newer ways. But as a country, we have had our difficulties, different means in relation to electricity generation, I would say. Our electricity generation, our cost is very high, but we had certain difficulties. I would say typical bureaucratic red tapes in relation to providing more green electricity to this country. Those, some of the barriers, you've been removing gradually. I think 5 years down the line, as Dr. Jasingh mentioned, you would be having much higher percentage of green energy developed in this country. We have all the resources. We have hydropower, we have wind power, we have ample sunlight to produce solar power in this country. It's a pity that we did not use those resources over a period of time with the capable set of Sri Lankan young entrepreneurs and engineers available in this country. So we are looking at those avenues, and we think that we are very hopeful future would be bright for us, even though it's little difficult for us to justify some of the actions we have taken during last 75 years since we gained independence in this country. It's popularly criticized. For your information, we became an independent nation in 1948, so last 75 years. But I would say country had seen many different facets of its own development. We were a country with 6.3 million population at the time of we were gaining independence. We have 21 million today. All of us, those who are here today, including myself, we were immensely benefited by the free education of this country, which had shown many results. We have global, Dr. Jasingh knows better than me, universal free healthcare system. So it's one of the best in the world. I continue to highlight. So World Health Organization always recognizes Sri Lanka as a country which provides best quality healthcare at a reasonable and affordable cost. And also we have developed our infrastructure greatly during the last 75 years, but most of them had come through the means of loans, foreign and local. So we had gone into indebtedness. That's the trouble we encountered during last couple of years' time, which became more complex because of corona pandemic that enveloped the whole world. But hopefully there will be a way out. And also during that time, I must mention, the Sri Lankan industrial sector have done their bit to ensure we do manufacturing in this country. So there are about 10 different sectors. They have started performing well, including motor vehicle assembly in this country. There are different industrialists who are doing their bit, and also at the same time, Sri Lankan agricultural sector has also started performing well now. I must mention, since you are covering two major areas in relation to your production, that's dairy and agriculture, dairy and coconut rather. Our coconut production has come to the highest level ever recorded last year. So we produced 3.2 billion nuts in Sri Lanka, despite the fertilizer shortage. That was the highest ever recorded nut production in the country. And we have a long way to go. As Mr. Bandhu Regodagi also mentioned, a lot of speakers mentioned about the carbon neutrality and also of the other food trends in the world, starting from vegan diets. So coconut has ample potential to grow. I believe, given the backdrop of the stagnation of the world tea market, which is at about $8 billion without having a significant market growth worldwide, as against tea, coconut records a much better growth record worldwide. We have seen about annual growth of about 5 to 6%, and the market size is also much larger than tea. It's coming up to export market is more than $13 billion. So Sri Lanka, even though the size of the country is small, we produce rich and tastier coconut in this country. So our exports have again gone up to $850 million last year, which was continuing to grow. And to support that export segment, coconut-based kernel products, and also other coconut-based products, we try to improve the production, for which Coconut Research Institute, in which Mr. Regodagi is also a member, we have produced 6 million planting material last year. That was the highest ever again. We are producing about 2 million planting material annually. We've gone up to 6 million last year. And also we are deploying different mechanisms to improve the productivity of the coconut sector in Sri Lanka, for which Nestlé had also contributed. And I'm very thankful for all the efforts to nurture and to strengthen Sri Lankan dairy sector and Sri Lankan coconut sector. And also, we're very pleased that I received the invitation to come and share your joy today also. And I wish Nestlé Sri Lanka all the very best in all your future endeavors.
For more latest news, subscribe to FTTV.